Chapters. Welcome back to the club. We're your hosts, Akila Friend and
Untitled Chapter.
Yes, and today we are going to be interviewing Bravo's own Justin Reese from Southern Charm, New Orleans. Hey, Justin.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
It's going good over here.
Yes, so excited to have you here with us. Today we'll be discussing life on a reality TV show, family dynamics, particularly that between a son and a father, so many things you've been up to. And we also love to mix things up, as you all know, with games on the show. So stick around for that as well. Let's welcome again, attorney at law and reality TV star, Justin Reese, Esquire. Hey, Justin.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me on here. I really appreciate it.
We are so happy to have you. So thank you.
Yes, exactly. Let's just jump right into it. We got so much.
Let's do it.
We're ready to go.
Let's do it.
That's the energy we love to see. Okay?
Love it. We love to see the energy.
So the biggest question that we have, and I'm sure a lot of your fans have as well, is how did a lawyer end up on reality television?
You know, it was actually just random, to be quite honest. It was just one of those things. I was out getting ready to go to a Saints game, who dat, love my Saints. And a mutual friend was getting ready to go in the game as well and said some people had reached out to her. And she just threw my name in a hat, and I began a series of conference calls and interviews and, doing some filming. And as they say, like 3 years later, I now did 2 seasons of a reality show. And look, I got to be honest, I did not think it was going to happen. I was just like, look, I'll play this game and see how far it gets. And lo and behold, lightning struck. And I was on a reality show. If not, I was going to go back to practicing law and being a lawyer like I was.
Yeah. So how was the environment on the show? Like, was it positive? Did you have fun? Or were you like, was it stressful? How was that?
It was. No, that's a great question. It was actually a mix of a little bit of everything, because when you do this, you're literally signing up to put your entire life, on camera. And that's good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. And, one of the things is that when you're doing this, for the people who are watching, everybody is going through things in their life. And a lot of people relate to your story, to your experiences. And it's hard to put that all out there. I mean, and even you want to be as authentic as possible. You want them to, obviously you want them to see the good, because that's the easy stuff. That's the fun stuff. But, there are a lot of tough conversations that have to be had that drum up a lot of emotions that you really kind of dig deep down. And when you're experiencing them at that time, you're talking about it, it's crazy to see the after effect of it. So like, people will hit you up like, yo, when you were talking to this person about this, like I had this issue and I was going through this and it really meant something. And, when you're doing it in that moment, like that's tough. It gets emotionally tough, as well. So it's kind of like a mixture of like, hey, let's party. I'm here for the drinks, crack a few jokes. But then like when you're having a serious conversation, it's like, man, that was a tough one. I need to like not talk to none of y'all for a second, because this is just a lot.
I can totally relate to that, or I can understand that, at least from a reality TV perspective. We've never been on reality television, but at the same time, I think the idea of putting out your story, being authentic with the world, sharing yourself, and hoping other people understand that and relate to that is key. You share that people actually reached out to you?
Oh yeah.
Like of what happened.
Now look, for every several people that are like, yo, your story was like, it really hit me. I've experienced it. I mean, you got people who also take the liberty to tell you how much they don't like you either. They literally take time out of their day to message you and tell you how awful of a person that you are and how you're a POS and this, that, and the third. I mean, they got some ruthless people. Twitter is a tough place. It's a tough place to be the topic of conversation.
How do you deal with the like negative energy? Because I feel like that is so hard to just brush off at some point. Like I know people are like, I don't read the blogs, or I just don't, engage. At the same time, it's like you see it. It's not like you don't see it.
Well, no, you definitely see it. And more often than not, I usually don't let it bother me, but there are times where they catch me vulnerable, they catch me in a moment. And it's tough because, you want to make people happy. But at the end of the day, you also have to truly realize, and you're not going to please everybody. There are always going to be a naysayer. There's always going to have someone who's going to have a difference of opinion. And then I really started to realize it was the people who kind of had like the ghost profiles with no profile picture, no, who are adding nothing about themselves, but just have everything to say with like 17 followers and like 2 pictures. I'm like, yo, you're not getting any more of my time anymore.
I love that. I love that. When you decide to say no more, this is enough.
The trolls be out, okay? The trolls be out.
Oh, they be out. They be out full force.
You can't say you're not doing something right if you don't have haters in some sense, right? So
that is true.
There it is.
That is true.
So, as we mentioned, you're both a lawyer and been on reality TV. How are you able to straddle both worlds? Because, you still have your law degree, you're still practicing law, but folks still know you for Southern charm. Talk about that.
Yeah. So it was actually a little tough because the filming schedule was very cumbersome. I mean, it took a lot of time, but I was very fortunate that I'm with a firm that truly supported me. And so I had colleagues, my support staff that were able to help out when I was away from the office. So that definitely helped out quite a bit. But I will say this too, though. I mean, it was also, people think like, okay, they see you're a lawyer, you're on reality TV, like business is just going to like blow up and explode. It's not quite the case. Actually, I found myself a lot having to remind people that I'm still a lawyer first and on a reality show second, because everybody thought because I was on TV, I'm no longer practicing law anymore. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute now. Like I still keep my day job, I still got to keep these lights on. I still got to run a business. They still got people depending on me to resolve these cases that puts money into the firm to pay salaries. So no, send the business, keep it coming, keep it coming.
Honestly, that was kind of my question because I kind of felt like people who go on reality TV, like whether it's The Bachelor or Southern Charm or whatever, it's like you take a long like chunk of time out of your schedule, or maybe it's, I don't know, like, well, sometimes when you're in the house, right, it's like 3 months or something, or, Southern Charm. How are you able to does it suffice with just the reality TV money, or is it just kind of like, no, I need to also be working. So when you're not in reality TV mode, filming 8, 7, 12 hours a day, then you're like working as well, or you're like stopping?
Well, I'll say we when we film, we're not filming. It's not like the real world where they're just following you 24/7. It's not like that. They really do. They really do the producers and how they do everything. They really try to capture every, as much of your life as they possibly can. And as cast members, it's really on us to try to be authentic. So there'll be times like where you want to have a conversation, about something with your friends and, other people you're on the show with. And you like, to keep it authentic, you like, I got to keep it to myself. I got to save it until we're on camera. And you learn how to do that because that's how you get the best content, when you're filming, and the audience can see that. Like, it's like, yo, they're not faking. Like, they're really having this conversation. They're really like talking about this stuff. Because I could tell you, we're not trained actors, at the end of the day. Like, it just doesn't, you don't go in there and we're not doing a script. Like, this is, us talking, but it took a lot of our personal, training to say, like, you gotta hold it in, you gotta save it until you get there, until you talk about it. But the other thing is too, we don't have to film again as long as like the real world. Like, part of what they do is they look at us and they want to know everything that's going on, and then they do their best to put it all together so that way it flows. So, while we're all together and we're doing a scene, they might say, hey, don't forget, this happened at this party. You guys should talk about it. Go. They're not telling us what to say. They're not telling us what to do. They'll say, remember this event, we want y'all to talk about what happened and how that made you feel. And, what were your thoughts on it? Like, really say what you're thinking and what you're feeling, So that's kind of how it works. But the weekends were probably like the longest days because obviously Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just like with anything, like, it's like weekend stuff. So they figured, okay, you're going to be free on this day, so be free.
That's such good perspective because we want to know the behind the scenes too of reality TV, especially knowing that I mean, this is a show that's on Bravo, and we are some Bravo queens over here. We love the reality TV aspect of it. We love, the franchises, but we also recognize there's a lot of drama on Bravo. And so we wanted to recognize, or we wanted to understand more, how do the producers, how do the folks behind the scenes play a role in, getting your friends, because this is a group of friends, a group of people that know you all, getting you guys to talk about kind of some of the more unpleasant traumatic things.
It's tough, but I mean, these are conversations. The difference is these conversations would be had. It's just that they're being had on camera. Like if someone does something out of pocket at an event where you're trying to raise money for something, and it's like, y'all, you can wait to do this at a later date. Like you gonna pick tonight to do. Like that's a conversation you're gonna have regardless. So like you're gonna just have it on camera now. So it's their job to make sure that we cover the things that happen, because it's an evolving thing. When we're somewhere in we're covering a topic, someone says something or they do something, it leads to something else. Like, hey, we got to talk about that. Like you're not gonna just skate by because you said something that was out of pocket at a party and I'm going to forget about it. Like, no, we're going to have that conversation. Or you did something like, I was expecting you to be there. I was depending on you and you left me hanging. Like, that's all things we do, in our everyday life. It's just, like I said, it gets documented.
Yeah. But I think it's kind of cool to be on reality TV because you kind of have like really well-produced, like, snapshots of your life at this particular time and moment. And it's something that you can kind of watch back later. Do they give you guys like episodes? Like, do they like send you guys the episodes? Do you guys have?
So we have, obviously we don't see the episodes until the season comes out, but we get it, just a few days prior to the actual airing. And that's part of because, you want to, tweet about it, help kind of build momentum about the show. And it's hard to, watch the show, and tweet at the same time, because you're just gonna miss stuff. So, you kind of see what's about to happen. Like, all right, we're gonna tweet about this on
the last 2 seasons. Then, if you looking back at the seasons, were there any moments that now you look back on and like, oh, should I have said that? Should I have done that? Or I'm so glad this happened because now I'm this or that person.
Like, is it hard to watch yourself back?
Yeah.
I think it's just weird to watch myself on TV, period. Like, it's just kind of like when you're looking at it it's almost like an outer body experience when you like go back and see yourself. It's like, wait, I said that? I wore that? What was I thinking? Like, what? That was me? No way. You kind of start having like all of these different like feelings and emotions about it. And look, some folks don't even, like, some people don't even watch it, period, until like the very end. They just binge everything. And it's because some like, I'm kind of scared to watch myself, on TV.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, but how do you keep the balance? Like if you have the crazies on Twitter, the trolls, and then you have, people online all the time talking about you or tweeting or whatever. How do you keep the balance to be like, I'm not going to be insecure about this. I'm not going to.
It's tough. It's tough. I'm going to tell you, it's tough because the end of the day, the person that you are, and the people who are most important to you know who you are. And if you're able to maintain that, it'll be fine. But it's never a perfect system, because even knowing all of that and having that support, you still get caught sometimes in a moment of vulnerability, and it might just be one comment that just gets you and you're just like, damn.
Yeah. I'm sure.
It happens. It happens to everybody.
I'm so sensitive. And like, also too, when you were saying you have to like hold back convos, like I'm so not that girl. I'm always like, Akila, this is what's happening. This is how I'm feeling. Like I am just automatically, because I like have emotion I have to like get out. To have to wait till filming, I'm like, that would be such a challenge for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, look, I've had the pleasure of chatting with other cast members from other shows, some of the Real Housewives, some of the other Southern Charm folks. Like I've talked to them, just about their experience, because they've been doing it for so long, compared to us. And I mean, they're the ones who kind of gave that advice. like, you just, don't go down the rabbit hole of trying to read all the comments, because you're going to be asking for it, and just stay grounded to who you are, stay grounded to the people that are close to you. Because like I said, folks out there, I mean, they're ruthless on Twitter.
I can imagine, child. But to kind of switch a little bit, you talked about, staying grounded, staying close to the people who are closest to you. You came on the scene within Southern Charm New Orleans as the son of an esteemed judge in New Orleans. So let's talk first about your parents' reactions to you being on the show in general. What did they have to say about it? And, how did you react to it?
So my parents are super cool. They were all the way a part of it. And my dad, both my parents are big social butterflies. I mean, look, prior to COVID, on a given Saturday, they would have 3-4 things that they had to go to, not errands, like events. I can tell you, I remember one time I was at my parents' house. It was Essence Festival weekend in New Orleans. I'm at their pool, just kind of hanging out. And within the time period that I was in their pool, they had came home 3 times to do a wardrobe change to go to like the next event. Like, I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah, that is it.
I love your parents already.
Parents, okay.
And look, it's not just, look, my mom is like the socialite, the philanthropist of New Orleans. She's at every major fundraising event. She was philanthropist of the year for New Orleans one year. Like, I mean, she kills it. So like, her wardrobe, she's all about style and fashion. And it's not just my mom, it's my dad too. They had like, this rooftop party. So my dad had his Cuban look going on with like the old Cuban man shirt and his hat for a rooftop party. And then they came home and they went to like a crawfish boil. So he got more comfortable for that. And then they went to like another event for Urban League before the concerts. And then boom, they went to the concert. They did like 4 wardrobe changes in like one day.
I'm like, just drop me home. I can't keep up.
Do you think that you're as much of the social butterfly as your parents? Like, is that also your vibe?
Not even close. Not even close. Like, they get out way more than I do. And I get out a lot. Like, I'm trying to keep up because part of being an attorney is networking. And so, I'm constantly out there trying to drum up business as well. So I'm not sitting at home. I'm out there, but my parents are out. Like the Q said, they OWT, they out.
Right. You take me back to college right now. Let's go to the question. The next question.
What was it like growing up to have a judge as a father? Like, I feel like judges are very, in my opinion, I feel like they're strict or they're, really stern about what it is that they want to do or how they want, their kids to behave or whatever. Don't be out too late. Don't be out past this time. Don't be coming home drunk, like that type of vibe. So like, how was it growing up as a judge?
So my parents were very strict, but they were very fair. Yeah, I have to say that, they were strict, but they were fair. And they were super smart. They were hip to all the game, all the scams, the scheming. Like, I could not run anything, over them or past them. And I'll give you a perfect example. So like during Mardi Gras, all the teenagers wanted to hang out for like the parades and be out with their friends. And so first of all, it was forbidden for me to go to the French Quarter, during Mardi Gras as a teenager. Like, that just was not happening. And I'm not going to lie, with all the traffic and trying to find places to park, it was just not possible. So I didn't even think about that. But then my dad is New Orleans born and bred. And so he knows everything about everything. And I would be like, Dad, I want to go to the parade with my friends. He'd be like, all right, so what corner are you going to be at? And I would say, St. Charles and such. And he'd be like, all right, cool. You're going to this parade. By the time the parade starts, by the time it gets to that corner, it should be about 8:00. By the time the parade ends, it's probably going to be about 10:30. It's going to take you 20 minutes to walk back to the car. Therefore, you should be home by 11:45. I was like, okay. And that's how he would break it down to me. Like, and I was just
you take it home. That's the question.
And he would be, and I remember there was another time, it was Bayou Classic, and I was out and I was way past curfew and I thought I was slick. And I had rode with my cousin who was just a year older than me, but his mama let him do everything that he wanted to do. And so I was way past curfew and I was like, I get home, my dad was up waiting for me. It's probably like 1:30 in the morning. And I was like, Dad, we got stuck in traffic. And look, there's traffic on Bayou Classic. And my dad was like, what time did y'all start walking to the car? And I was like, I mean, I was not ready for that question. He had me.
That's a judge.
Like, they like my parents, if they knew that my friend's parents was like, let their kids do whatever they want, there was no spending the night at that friend's house. Like, no, you coming home. You coming home. Like, my parents didn't play.
I love that though. I like that you started it off with like they were strict but they were fair, because these are the stories then afterwards that make you into the man that you are, the person that you are, and
absolutely
the future father that you may or may not want to be. So so that's
absolutely awesome. Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to make sure that we touch on too the fact that yes, there are definitely parents or Black households. You have single parents, single mothers, fathers who are present, fathers who are not, but you grew up in a 2-parent household with 2 parents who were very much, interested in your development. I want to make sure that we give some time to talk about what do you think that really meant for your upbringing, for how you view the world now, to have 2 parents, specifically that father-son relationship that seems to be strong as
No, look, I'm very blessed, to have that, and the dynamics of it were that I learned so much from each one because they each gave me, something different, obviously, my dad teaching me how to be a man, how to be a gentleman, how to be a professional, how to wear a suit, how to tie a tie, integrity, things like that. And then my mom was the one like really taught me about responsibility, organization, loving, caring. So I got both from each part. I'm still working on that organizational part, which has seemed to escape me. But I try to have gotten everything else, from her.
Can't have it all, right?
I love that. I think that it's so. I really want to ask, like, growing up in New Orleans. And I don't know if did you go to public school or private school?
So in New Orleans, a good bit of the schools in New Orleans are private schools. New Orleans is a predominantly Catholic city. And so, you have a lot of Catholic schools here. And so I went to private school all the way from kindergarten through law school. And my first public school wasn't until I got my LLM, which is an advanced law degree. That was my first public school in my life, and my last year of school ever.
You probably in like New York. I'm from New York, and it's like PS1, PS2, PS76, whatever have you. So it's definitely a bigger mix. But
yeah, well, see, I went to private school as well, in California from first grade to like college, and so I really, me personally, especially being in California in the area that I grew up in, I was like maybe one of 3 or one of 2 Black people when it came to school. A lot of them were mostly PWIs. So how was that in New Orleans? Like, I would assume it would be, but let us know.
So, for when I was in high school from, I started in 8th grade my high school had an 8th grade through 12th grade. And prior to that, my school was actually very mixed. My parents were like really big on trying to find a school that had, a good bit of, white kids, Black kids, Asian kids, Latino kids, so that way I could get a good, mixture of diversity. And my school had that, my elementary school. Now, the high school that I went to was an all Black male high school in New Orleans, St. Augustine High School. And that's the school my dad went to. That was actually the school that was built during segregation for Black males to go to get educated, because they wouldn't allow Black kids to go to other schools because it was segregation, and they didn't start integrating the schools till the 70s, really, the late 60s, 70s. And I mean, even in sports, they have what they call the Catholic League and then the public school leagues, right? And that's because that's how many private schools there are in New Orleans. And even within the Catholic schools, for the longest time prior to desegregation, St. Aug had to play all the other Black public schools because they could not play the white Catholic schools in New Orleans. So, my high school now, it's like a HBCU. I mean, it was all Black, but it didn't prevent other people, from going there. It's just, that's what it was. And like I said, that was the school for the Black community in New Orleans. We are fortunate to have the alumni we have. We have a lot of guys who have made it to the professional leagues as basketball players, NFL. We have major musicians that are world renowned, that people know and love. I mean, like, I ain't gonna lie, my high school is the shit. It's it's legit. You know, like me personally, when I was there, from the time that I was in ninth grade when I made varsity team to the guys ahead of me, and then when I was a senior to the guys behind me, I played with 8 guys that made it to the NFL just from my high school.
I mean,
you know,
going to the NFL is already difficult. So eight. I'm
eight.
Impressed. I'm impressed.
Eight. I mean, our musicians, John Baptiste, who's on the Tonight Show with either Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon is a St. Aug guy. My friend PJ Morton's a part of Maroon 5. You know, it's like all of these guys are, you know, saying we had 2 St. Aug guys in the Super Bowl this year, 1 on each team. You know, Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, Leonard Fournette, the running back. So we're you know, we might be small in size, but we're big in stature.
That's incredible. And I think that's such a testament to you, because we're going to talk, we've been talking about this whole time, but the culture in New Orleans and the community and the sense of self and the pride, it's so prevalent in the series when we were watching Southern Charm, and just talking to you today, but also just even knowing that dates back to how you went to high school and the fact that it's tradition within your family to go there. This might be a little more dark, but I do want to just at least talk about the fact that, you know, Black Lives Matter that happened, especially came to the forefront this past year. And you being a Black man, specifically a Black man that had the opportunity to grow and be raised around Black men, to go to school within Black men that you just shared are so successful. Yeah. What are your thoughts, or anything that you want to say in regards to how you all are viewed in the greater society, and just any thoughts you have? Open floor when it comes to Black Lives Matter.
Now, I'm gonna tell you, this past year, when everything kind of started kicking off, you know, and it's first of all, I want to say it's really sad that the death of a man had to be the catalyst, you know, for people to finally start taking notice, you know, because what was happening to him was not anything that was uncommon, unfortunately. It just that his life's being sacrificed was the catalyst to bring forth, you know, everything that has happened. So starting off with that is something that I've seen, I've recognized. You know, I even take it all the way back to when I was a student prosecutor at the DA's office, you know, looking at the criminal justice system. And then, you know, that was also part of me not wanting to be, you know, a DA anymore, because I saw that how unfair the sentencing guidelines were, especially to minorities, you know, how the laws are drafted and made. I was just like, I can't be responsible for putting, you know, Black people in jail. And I'll speak to one case in particular. I remember there was a guy who was on his 3rd strike. And I mean, he might have had in the evidence bag, it was a piece of crack that you would literally have to, like, you know, how you try to get a piece of paper off the table where you got to lick it and try and like, so you could get it. It was that much. He was facing 20 years in jail. And to me, that's somebody who needs help. And prison for 20 years is not going to do that. He's a nonviolent offender who needs to be in rehab, who needs to be in programs, who needs help, you know, with his addiction, who needs help with education and job training. That's what should have been available to him, and it wasn't. The only thing that was available was jail. You know, it was good to see, you know, some of the changes that were being made, because I think about what happened in New York with the gentleman that was bird watching, and the lady literally tried to use the police as a weapon because she did not like the way that he spoke to her. And she was like, I'm going to show you, you're not going to talk to a white woman like this. Know your place. And that was the underlying meaning. I don't care what people say. That was the underlying meaning and tone behind what she did. And I'm so glad that New York, and I love that they even named the law after her. You know, they're saying if you call the police to make false allegations, you will be prosecuted, and how that's now being put in the forefront. I've got some friends and colleagues who are legislators in Louisiana. There's some of the things that they're looking at, you know, as well as trying to implement and institute. So there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. And I hope that we don't lose any steam, because I could tell we're losing a little steam from what's happened. I mean, I'm just going to be honest there, but the work still needs to continue to be done.
Yeah. Do you think in ways, so a couple questions, right? Because you said a lot, I really want to lean into it because it's so important. In New Orleans, specifically because that's where you live, do you think that there are programs or rehab programs that are available to the community? Or is it, or that's one question. And then is it only like, do you only see like white people more or less getting those treatments versus Black people? So like if there are programs.
Yeah. So there's different types. There's programs through the court. They're called diversion programs, and they try to help people. But it's decided upon by the DA and the judge for them to be for them to be eligible and qualify. So you got to get over that hurdle. They have to say, okay, I'm going to let you do that, as opposed to send you to jail, first and foremost. Now, the second part is, I don't want to speak so bad about it because I don't know all of the inner workings that go on with these diversion programs, because you're supposed to do the classes and things like that. I don't know how much resources are put into it compared to something that's private. And, that's why, when people talk about defund the police and things like that, let me just because it kind of ties into it, and let me kind of give you my thoughts on when I say defund the police, especially in markets that have large budgets. I think when we compare the United States local police trainings compared to other countries, like I've seen in the UK, police training is like a 2-year process. They are truly about de-escalation, where in the United States, we're all about militarizing, and, when you give people, those kind of toys, naturally, you're going to want to play with them, and so I think a lot of that should be used where police academy should be longer, in my opinion, than 6 months. If I've got to go to law school for 3 years to learn about the law, interpret the law, write about the law, to help the courts enforce the law, then police officers should be in training for more than 6 months. I'm not saying they have to go to training for 3 years, but it should be more than 6 months. And the training should be tailored towards, look, I respect those gentlemen and those ladies who do it. They do truly put their lives on the line. But I think where our wagons are circling with regards to, how they interact in the neighborhoods trying to accomplish their goal, and then how the neighborhood views, because, now people believe that the protect and serve that's on the side of police cars, in quotations, is the irony of the whole situation, as opposed to the meaning of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that, like, your dad being a judge, do you think that he has like positively impacted the city of New Orleans when it comes to, because I feel like the law can be tricky. Mm-hmm. My dad was like, I took a law class a few times and blah, and he was like, it wasn't for me, because he was like, things aren't really what's fair, it's how the law presents it sometimes. So I feel like sometimes it can be tricky, but do you feel like he has, had a positive impact?
My dad definitely has had just a huge impact, being the legal mind and the legal scholar that he is, and how respected that he is. Now, my dad does civil law. He's not, he used to, before he became a judge, he did civil law, criminal defense. So he kind of touched on everything. And, it was his teachings that actually even saved my life, one time, because when I was in high school, I was driving my dad's car. I got pulled over by police, and as soon as they pulled me over, both of them came out with their guns drawn on me and my friends. It was a crazy situation. And again, like I said, I put the quotation marks. Here I am, a kid. The worst thing I ever did was be late, for curfew, and I may have had one speeding ticket one time, like I was not, someone who was in the breaking law, running with the wrong crowds and things like that. And so for someone that I grew up knowing as, in school as officer friendly, is now pointing a gun, at me. And it really affected me. It really opened my eyes to what the world is and how Black men are perceived and viewed. And like I said, my dad, it wasn't a one-time lesson. I got the Rodney King talk, and it's crazy how in different stages, like my dad got the Emmett Till talk, I got the Rodney King talk, and now my friends are giving their sons and daughters the George Floyd talk. And I got the Rodney King talk. It wasn't one time. It was all the time, constantly reinforced. If this happens, you got to do this. It was just over and over, to the point where I was like, I know, Dad, I know, Dad, I know. But, he would not stop. And it was one of those situations where, for me, during that time period, we were coming off of Amadou Diallo, who was also in New York. And I was 17 years old. So clearly I was familiar. I knew what was going on. And I knew, like, when that happened, I was scared, as a 17-year-old kid. So, like I said, it's something that, he has taught me, and he always taught me, said, son, the biggest thing is you can never fight with a police officer on the street. You're literally going to lose that fight 10 out of 10 times. They own the streets. You win in the courtroom. take your fight to the courtroom and let justice take care of itself. And that's how it is, and that's how we get through this stuff.
I think that is so powerful. And
so powerful. And I feel like so emotional because the fact that we even have to have this type of conversation, the fact that this is the topic of discussion, the fact that, it's just been kind of like, woo, about, everyone, the wool off their eyes last year.
Not everyone, because I think for most people, we had the wool off our eyes, but then other folks, we have to then educate for some regards. And I think it's also powerful, like you said, like, each generation or each sort of people, they have their pivotal person, and that's just one person that happened within that time frame, so how do you now, coming off of, and I don't even want to say coming off of Black Lives Matter, because it's still happening, it's still present, and it's definitely a movement and hopefully a change maker, but knowing again, and I think it's so powerful that you have that dichotomy of having that reality TV exposure but having that law background and having that law expertise. How do you think you'll incorporate both, as well as your own, sentiments as a Black person, as a Black male, with perhaps the next season of Southern Charm, if that happens, or at the very least, in what you do in your social media, in your, practice?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it's hard to try to get everything on the TV show. I actually, during the second season, and unfortunately, it didn't make the show, but in Louisiana, we had one of the last Jim Crow laws that was on the book was the unanimous juries. And that was something that I had pushed for. I was out there campaigning. I was talking to people on election day to, vote for the proposition to make Louisiana a unanimous jury state. And, just so what people can know out there, unanimous juries are very important, especially in criminal law, when you're talking about the criminal justice system. Because we've all seen on TV when they talk about beyond a reasonable doubt. And that is the highest standard of proof. That is the highest burden of proof to bear. That means literally, if you're in a criminal trial, the prosecution has shown you so much evidence and you have heard so much testimony to where there literally leaves no doubt, in your mind that this person did the crime that they're being accused of, meaning that they have answered all of your questions. It is beyond a reasonable doubt. Not just enough to say, well, it's more likely than not that he did it. It's, I've seen what I need to see to know that this person is definitively guilty of this crime, right? Well, in Louisiana, you can convict someone on a 10-2 vote. So if you've got two people holding out, that in itself should signify reasonable doubt. And, I was very passionate about that because you would have basically also the jurors who were sitting on the jury, their voices didn't matter. You have people who are literally taking time out of their lives, their family, their work to go sit on a jury because that is what they're required to do as part of their civic duty. And your voice does not matter. That was the second component to it. So I was real passionate about trying to, get that out there, and the proposition passed. So we now have unanimous juries. That was something I really wanted to show, on Southern Charm. Unfortunately, it didn't get shown. But that's something that I still put out there. It's being able to talk about things like that through, folks like you guys, which I sincerely appreciate, which keeps the conversation going. And it still continues to give it life and to keep moving forward and to bring awareness. So sometimes I'm not always able to show it because there's so much that we have to cover also within the show. And, they try their best to get it in. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm never going to stop, even if it doesn't, make the show.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's always about elevating Black voices. And that's what we want to continue to do, continue the conversation, as you said. So everyone out there, thank you so much for continuing to watch and support us. Please like, subscribe, and comment to the Black Creators Club. If you guys have any leads or people that you want us to interview, you can email us at the Black Creators Club. Follow us on all social media. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. We love you guys.
Thank you. And let's use this time then to transition more to our game. I know we talked about so many things. I
know. Take it off. I feel like it was all serious.
Like we all need to stretch it off. We all need to do that. But I mean, again, Justin, we're so excited to have you here with us. And I know a lot of folks that are going to be listening, watching, are like, we want you to talk about so much that's going on with Southern Charm. We want to talk about the cast and everything that's happening. So we're going to give you that. In a game, who that? And the reason, and for those that don't know about who that, I feel like as a New Yorker, I shouldn't be explaining it. How about let's make the resident Nolans person talking.
Yes. Yes. I am a huge Who. I'm part of the Who Dat. They say the Who Dat Nation. I am a huge Saints fan. Who that said they gonna beat them Saints? That is my team. So it's a big part of our culture. Who that? Or just the big thing is DAT. Like, so you will even find businesses that have like that DAT at the end of their name or their logo, and it's become really synonymous with their culture. One of my really good friends, and this is about to be a shameless plug here. One of my really good friends is a restaurateur. His restaurant is Weedats. And so, he's chicken and fries. And I mean, look, matter of fact, you should check him out. He's out there in LA. He's got a food truck out there, and he did catering events for Anthony Davis. I saw him with Gabrielle Union. He's done stuff with Snoop. So he's a big deal. It's a We Dat food truck. He's out there in LA too. So y'all got to check him out.
For sure, we're gonna check him out.
So much coming out of New Orleans. I love it.
Yeah.
But as we said, this game called Who Dat, and as we get ready for a potentially new season, fans had plenty of time to catch up on season 1 and season 2. And so we're playing something up like kind of out of the yearbook, where we're going to give you an example of, let's say, most likely to do blank. And you'll respond with the cast member that you believe is most likely to do that. Or if you want to, in essence, plead the fifth, since we're chatting with a lawyer, you can get with Who Dat. So the first one, most likely to show up to their own wedding shirtless.
Oh, John Moody.
Figured as much.
Easy.
I mean, I know you've been on your weight loss game. You might.
Look. No. John Moody is showing up to church shirtless. Okay.
He for sure is. Most likely to steal the spotlight.
Tamika.
We thought so too. We love her, but we know it's her.
Easy. Easy.
Yes. Most likely to have a quarantine baby.
Reagan.
That came fast, didn't it?
Right.
I was like, okay.
Look, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. Couple most likely headed for divorce.
Ooh. Who that?
It was like, I'm trying to keep all my friends together. Y'all trying to get caught up.
Who that?
Who is most likely?
Who that?
Love it. Who is most likely to start drama?
Oh, I'm gonna have to go with Tamika.
I was literally thinking that, so I was like, I wonder if he's gonna say it. Okay. Most likely to break up to make up.
Break up to make up?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff.
Oh. We love Jeff. All right. And who is most likely to calorie count at Mardi Gras?
Oh, John Moody. A
body like that, though. I mean,
he's serious. Like he is all about like his protein and his plant-based proteins, and he doesn't drink. He barely drinks, like if at all. John Moody.
Easy. Watching the show, like laughing, the fur coat at the pool parties, the shirtless, with the tux and the whole body. Like he is just a character. He is something else.
Yes.
Oh, he's hilarious. He is absolutely hilarious.
But I really thought for this one, we have a whole like gym franchise owner in the mix. I thought you would have answered.
No. Barry eats. He goes out, eats, but he works out like all day, every day. Like even when he's training his clients, he's like sometimes working out with them as well. Like he's just, but no, John is like my protein is not like at GNC. Like you got to go to like Whole Foods and get his plant-based proteins. Like he's nuts about his diet. Yeah.
Yeah. I got you. Well, I gotta throw one more in here. It's not necessarily a most likely, but you can still respond with a who dat if you feel in some type of way.
Okay.
But, Kelsey, we heard that between you and Kelsey, you guys, officially broke things off. Is that still the case? Or are you still, are you back in the swing of things? What's happening?
Oh, no. We back in the swing. We good. Yeah.
Okay. We like to hear that. We like to hear that.
I love that. Okay.
Right. We're rooting for y'all. We're like, yes, you guys are just so cute. And you just treat her so, like, you guys have such a loving relationship. So we love to
appreciate that.
Yes. So honestly, we are literally done. We're wrapping up, but I honestly want to know, like, after reality TV, now that you've had your stint for 2 seasons, possibly a third, what's your pivot? Like, what's your next move? What do you have?
So things have actually been going real well for my legal practice. So we're constantly growing, with that. I still want to, just keep myself out there, in a more, whether it's like, doing informational stuff like this, because this is, talking about like the things that we talked about today was what I'm truly passionate about. And so I just love getting information out there, love helping people, whether it's law related, whether it's, politics, whether it's, civil rights stuff, that's what really keeps our needle moving forward towards change. And I'm always a big agent for change. I will say this though, I wouldn't mind, having like, a judge show though, for anybody out there watching, I could be out there. You call me Judge J. Reese. I could be out there now.
Oh, I like that.
That is spicy. That is modern.
Look,
I love it.
I'm just saying, I could put a different spin, a new modern twist to it, so that's something that I would not mind doing.
Yes, we need to. Oh my gosh, I wonder what your first case will be.
I know. We need to start picking it up. We like that, Judge J. Reese. We like that. Yes. We like that over here.
Make it happen. Go ahead and manifest.
That's it.
Well, Justin, let the people know where they can find you on social.
So I'm literally on all social media platforms as the Justin Reese. I just kept it super simple and easy. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, the Justin Reese.
Yes.
Oh, you got the TikTok. Let me find out you got the TikTok.
Oh yeah. Look, I'm just getting a part of the TikTok. I just did my new I did the drumline challenge. It's probably my last video. Like, yeah, I'm figuring it out. I'm having some fun with TikTok now.
No, you more than figuring it out.
Right.
So much coordination with that one.
Right. We're over here just with like the cute little things. Like, or something. Like, I cannot get with the TikTok. They're so hard. We want to thank you so much for coming and spreading your message.
Yes, absolutely. You can find me chatting business, pop culture, and lifestyle at Akila Friend on all platforms.
And you can find me on Instagram at EbonyChapman12, where I am talking about Black-owned businesses.
Yes, and of course, you can keep up with the Black Creators Club at the Black Creators Club on every single platform. Thank you so much for joining today. And remember to always abide by your ABCs. Always be creating. Thank you.
See you later.